What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is I, your more phenomenal host, as always, Adam Perez, back once again with a brand new episode of A-Plus More Phenomenal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman news and reviews, live for you guys today here over on our YouTube page, also streaming live over on Facebook, as well as Twitch for you gamers out there. So thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining us once again for a brand new episode here. And listen, if you are in the live chat, if you're joining us live as you usually do every Saturday afternoon, do us a big favor, hit that like button, guys. It definitely does certainly go a long way as we're here to go ahead and break down a couple of great topics for you guys today. Of course, we're going to be diving into Dino Fury Season 2, Episode number 10, Losers Weepers. We got a little bit of a review for you guys, and then we'll jump into the live chat for our weekly Dino Fury episode discussions. We'll even get into a little bit of David Yost's Quantum Continuum this week. More 30th anniversary rumors certainly headed our way. And then we'll definitely go ahead and jump into some tokusatsu news for you guys as we get ready for Shin Kamen Rider and even Ultraman Decker, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, towards the end of the episode, we will certainly tackle your live viewer questions, guys. So should be a stacked episode. If anything, I'm going to try and get done or wrap up if I can by 3 o'clock, 3:13 or so. I do have a meeting I certainly have to attend later on this afternoon, so probably won't be going over too long today, but thank you very much, guys, for certainly joining us. And then after this, we've got one more episode of Dino Fury to go ahead and break down for you guys next week, as we will in fact be wrapping up the first part of season 2 of Dino Fury, ladies and gentlemen. And bigger things are certainly coming our way when it comes to Power Rangers in general. Definitely trying to, again, also just a reminder, if not next week, the following week certainly may be our last episode of A Plus More Phenomenal. If you guys certainly still want to follow us in regards to our Power Ranger talk and any updates and news content and things like that we'll continue to go ahead and put out for you guys. It will no longer be on A Plus More Phenomenal within the next 2 weeks, as we are going to be diverting a lot of that over to our A Plus Hero Report YouTube channel. There is a link in the description box below, guys. So if you want to go ahead and take your subscribers over to there, certainly feel free to, because A Plus Hero Report will certainly be our home for Power Ranger news going forward within the next couple of weeks here, guys. So yeah, definitely go ahead and show A Plus Hero Report some love. It's myself. We also got a couple of co-hosts that are definitely going to be joining us as well. And then hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be actually adding a midweek show for A Plus Hero Report. So we have a Wednesday show and a Sunday show for you guys here within the next couple of weeks. So certainly go ahead and look forward to that. My mom made it home safely this past week. She came down for Mother's Day to go ahead and visit us. It wasn't necessarily the best trip, unfortunately. If you've been following me or if you know the details, she did unfortunately come down with COVID. Minor symptoms, way minor symptoms, just because she has all her vaccinations. But still, it just kind of ended up us having to quarantine her for a couple of days. She didn't really get the opportunity to spend time with her grandchild or even us whatsoever. So I think we're going to try and get her to come back out here within the next month or two, just so she can really have that experience the way that she certainly wanted to. And then actually, I think next weekend, the reason why I keep saying a week or two from now, A Plus More Phenomenal will be ending is because next weekend, my uncle is actually coming down from Delaware. Him and his wife are going to be spending about 4 or 5 days out here. And I think they're coming down Friday through Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, of next week. So it may put some damper on the idea of putting a live episode of A Plus More Phenomenal for you guys next week. But I'll definitely go ahead and keep you guys posted in regards to that. It's been a busy turnaround in regards to a month. A lot of stuff is certainly happening here around the house, and it's definitely kept me extremely busy. Like, I haven't had the opportunity to knock out my Moon Knight reviews. I haven't even done my Don Brothers reviews from last week also that I usually drop on Monday. So this week, I'm probably going to be dropping 2 Don Brother reviews for you guys earlier this upcoming week. So a lot of stuff is certainly happening around here, keeping me busy along with dad life. So yeah, man. It's been kind of crazy. But it's been fantastic to be able to see all my loved ones. But guys, we're going to go ahead and start getting into this week's episode. I do want to go ahead and give some shout outs to some people that are certainly here with us today. Good old Gabriel, certainly in the house. I went to go ahead and do like the gold scheme to kind of fit Ion's vibe here this week based off of the episode we wind up getting. Got a good old Michael Rhymes in here. Did I change the format of this? Because it feels like these comments are bigger than normal. Oh, I think that's what it was. I went to more classic. You know what? We'll do with the classic today. Maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. Yeah, we'll give everybody's big old faces on the screen. Why not? Let's see here. Who else we got? Um, Good old Nicole Roberts in the house. Thank you very much, Robertson. Appreciate you coming through, Nicole. Ram Jam certainly in the house. Good old Frankie in here as well. What's up, Blossom? Certainly good to see you in here also. Enrique making their presence known for sure. Yeah, man, I haven't had the opportunity to check out Don Brothers this week. It's been kind of crazy around the household. So I'm going to certainly be working on that today, or at least sometime this weekend. Nanditha, what's up, Nanditha? I know you're here to certainly talk some quantum continuum. It should certainly be a good episode this week. We got JB says what in the house also. Thank you very much for certainly coming through. Doomsday, did I give you some love earlier? I don't think so. What's up, Doomsday? Appreciate you being in here. Good old Edward Sanchez Productions, never leaving us hanging. We got Datilla in here waving at everybody. Good morning. Who else we got? Sarav, what's up, guys? Good to see you in here, man. Video DVD certainly coming through. Jordan joining us for our live stream today. What's up, Jordan? We got Koala in here as well. And then good old DHR2 in here as well. So I wasn't really feeling this episode that much, though I did like some of the things, but still the episode sucked. Wasn't a big fan. What's up, Jinsaku? Jinsaku in the house. What's our community leaker? No, that sounds weird. That sounds weird. What's up, Jinsaku? It's so good to see you around here, man. I appreciate the space, the Twitter space you had yesterday. Super informative, man. Appreciate you giving us your thoughts on that stuff and giving us some insight. If you guys aren't joining Jinsaku for his Twitter spaces, feel free to join him from time to time. He definitely will let you know what he certainly knows, as much as he certainly can. And he does like to take some questions towards the end and maybe clarify some things for you guys. So definitely follow Jinsaku whenever you get the chance, as we are all eagerly awaiting the future of Power Rangers. So guys, with that out of the way, let's get into some Dino Fury talk this week. You know what I'm saying? I know DHR2 wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of this episode, but I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's the best episode that I've certainly had all season, but it's one that I definitely walked away from enjoying. I think for me, what really stood out to me the most was probably the Izzy and Ion just relationship that these two have and the bond that they have. There is something, we already have Ion sort of we already have Ion as the type of character that seemingly is really open to, pretty open-minded, you know what I'm saying? In the sense of wanting to explore and experience everything that Earth certainly has to offer, whether that be snacks, whether that be biking, cycling, whatever the case certainly may be. I really do like Ion's personality in regards to just wanting to have fun and certainly being himself, right? So when you see him riding along somebody as competitive as Izzy, and just the type of character that she is, I really like the two of them on screen together. They definitely don't have a problem with bickering. It feels like a different relationship between those two than they have with other Rangers. And I think because of that uniqueness and the fun that they wind up bringing very early on in this episode to introduce us to them racing through the forest and stuff, I love the action. I really did love that little bike chase that we wind up getting at the beginning. For me, it really kind of just set the tone in regards to the type of personalities we were going to get from Ion and Izzy in here. And these two actually did not disappoint whatsoever. I did want to go ahead and bring this up. Let me see. I'm trying to Google this real quick. Dino Fury episodes, because I do want to give a great shout out to the director in this week's episode. I don't know exactly who it was, but there were definitely some great moments in this episode that really jumped out at me that made me go, oh, wow, that's a pretty creative decision in regards to shots and things like that. I mean, just the idea of them having the bike chase scene in here, I thought went a really long way. Caroline Bell Booth was the director here in this week's episode, and I really liked her work this week, man. The idea of, again, the bike chase, and then there's also a great shot when they're fighting Flapnarok, when Flapnarok has the the collar in her hand, and you see the Rangers all attempting to try and get it from her. And the camera angle goes very sort of first person view from the perspective of Flapnarok. So you get to see just the collar in front of us and the Rangers reaching out for it, right? Or trying to battle their way to get to her. I thought that shot was incredible. And especially the shot of the Izzy, the Garcia siblings teleporting from the back of the scene to the front to try and reach out for it, and then them getting knocked aside. Just some really cool creative decisions that I thought really went a long way of setting the tone and vibe for this particular episode. And a lot of that certainly had to do with the bike chase and just really seeing the bickering between Izzy along with Ion. There was, for me, seeing them come across the abandoned Jeep in the woods. I don't know why I got Lost vibes from watching it. Almost like the fact that we've been dealing with like a hidden bunker here, right? Nobody knows it's been used for in the past. They've been using it for experiments and stuff, finding just random things around the forest and things like that. It just reminds me of the Lost Island and the random things that they would certainly come across from experiments or projects that the Dharma Initiative were doing sort of like in their bunkers on this mysterious island and things like that. So when we see them come across the old Jeep and they discover not only the collar, but the amazing amounts of cash, for some reason, it just took me really back to Lost. So kudos to the set designers and whoever decided to go ahead and put in that little scene. It really worked for me. It really worked for me. And then, of course, we do get the personalities of Ion and Izzy clashing in here, right? Izzy going back to the childhood aspect of finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Unfortunately for her, she picked the wrong briefcase. And Ion certainly the one that certainly did it. So the fact that she puts that out in the world towards Ion, like, I'm sorry, man, whatever's in this suitcase is mine. The table certainly got quickly turned on her when it is Ion that discovers the cash and certainly doesn't want to share it, right? And so both of these characters get a little bit grumpy, a little bit jerkish, if you will, to each other, despite the fact that they probably both didn't handle the situation accordingly, right? Ion looking at the idea, this is going to buy me snacks for the whole week. Him and his Earth snacks. I absolutely love it. But even Izzy's like, no, this is more like a year, bro. Like you've hit the jackpot here, sort of thing. But it really does cause some animosity, and we get the opportunity to see Ion kind of leaving. I will say the downside to this episode that I really wasn't a big fan of was the aspect that, again, it was one of those life lessons, right? And it's literally just a life lesson that Pop. First off, always awesome to see Pop certainly return for an episode. Anytime he wants to come in, that's great. I mean, the man's always got great advice. But literally, we use Pop in here for like one sentence that really just explains the entirety of this episode. And it's the idea that, money doesn't necessarily bring you happiness, right? Or it's not necessarily going to solve all the problems in your world. Like, I kind of like the idea that when somebody compliments Ion in this episode, like, wow, you're looking good, right? And he says, I do. And he gets kind of depressed. We clearly know that he's going shopping to blow off some steam, sort of thing. But the idea of him purchasing all this stuff and him looking good now, it feels very much like, while it certainly is a compliment, despite him looking good, he may not necessarily feel good. You know what I mean? Like, he still might feel as down in the dumps as he did certainly before him, and before he went shopping, when him and Izzy wind up getting into it, sort of thing. So I think that idea of him getting a compliment, something that he should take and be like, boisterous about and happy about, considering the fact that he's realized, wow, I spent all this money, I look great, but I don't feel great, right? Like, maybe I'm going about this certainly the wrong way if I'm out here trying to spend money in the sense of trying to hide the situation that I'm in and cover up, the I don't want to say necessarily the pain, but the idea of him and Izzy clearly having some animosity with one another. And it's really Pop that comes in to go ahead and give us that life lesson of the day. And it's almost like we did all of this just for Pop to give us the one sentence that I think we all certainly know, in the sense that money doesn't necessarily bring you happiness. It certainly may make life a little bit easier, but it certainly won't fulfill you in everything that you're certainly looking for in life, sort of thing. So, a life lesson, you know what I'm saying, type of episode in here. But it did have some really great aspects to it. It's very similar to what DHR said in here that I certainly picked up on and really enjoyed. Again, the Izzy and Ion stuff really worked for me. The forced apology at the end, I feel like we get that all the time. I do love the fact, though, that Ion decides to use his money for other things. There are certainly a lot of people in this world that have a plethora of money that I certainly wish certainly went about doing the same thing that Ion certainly did, whether that was giving people cash or just going to the store and purchasing the items and giving out to people, sort of thing. It's a really great mentality. And the idea of him seeing other people happy probably makes him happy at the end of the day. And of course, being able to, for Izzy to be able to see how he has used the money, considering the fact that she's been bad mouthing him all episode long, calling him a jerk and things like that, to finally see what Ion decided to do with the money. I do love how an eye-opening experience that was for Izzy to realize that she probably underestimated him, to certainly say the least. Really thrilled at the fact that he used the money that he certainly did, the way that he did, and wind up purchasing her a brand new bike. You know, I will say, speaking of the bike, considering the fact that they both went out for another race at the end of the episode, I was not a fan of how the episode ended. I honestly thought that that final scene was super cringeworthy. Just the idea of like Ion and Izzy in the air as they hit that hill, and it's just them in front of a green screen. Like, it's just such a static shot that it just looks awkward and just, I feel like it could have been handled better. Like, I feel like they could have chosen a much better scene than what they wind up closing the episode out on. So while it ended on a very cringy shot for me, outside of it, I certainly enjoyed the episode for what it was. A couple things I do want to go ahead and point out real quick, some honorable mentions. Mucus winds up growing in this episode as he winds up putting on the collar that Izzy decides, like, oh, this is an old dog collar. Who certainly needs this? But when Mucus puts it on, he winds up growing big. This is like one of the first or maybe second shots, maybe even third shots that I've seen in Dino Fury so far, where we're kind of given our aspect of like an original tokusatsu footage from Hasbro, which is very different. I don't know if it's them experimenting to see what they can maybe get away with as they progress and reboot and reimagine Power Rangers certainly further, right? Maybe with future kids programming, if they really want to lean heavily on original footage and maybe stick to maybe the kids formula of their programming when it comes to Power Rangers. The idea of original tokusatsu is actually works out pretty well. At least it looked pretty good in here for what it certainly was. I think there was another shot in the very first season where they had original sort of footage in that sense too, of monsters growing or a big monster, if you will, very tokusatsu, if you will. So I really enjoyed it, especially the Mucus aspect of it when the birds come flying around. He's like, oh, hey, birdies, and they get too close and he's like, get away from me, you vultures. Like, I just immediately love how Mucus how she winds up just turning on a dime when it comes to the birds in here. So great stuff, man. Great stuff. What else we got? We did see Void Knight captured in this episode also, as Void Queen has put him now inside of the machine. There is something I will say this. I am kind of curious what's going to happen to Void Knight here, because we also have, I think we got two other monsters that are certainly supposed to be coming our way. Real Soldier, we had Precious. And then we also had Eris as like the main bad guy at the end of the season. And considering how we saw Santora inside of that pod look differently, but then the power of the Sporex changed her, there is a part of me that wonders if Void Queen will then, in an attempt to get rid of Void Knight, or in an attempt, like she's just tired of hearing him talk about my love, let's get off this planet, yada, yada, yada. Maybe Void Queen just needs a new man in her life. And she's like, look, I need somebody that's going to talk about revenge and really want to go ahead and get these humans back for what they certainly did to us. And I'm wondering if Void Knight in his human form right now is Tarek. I wonder if Void Queen will just get so fed up or just get tired of him and wanting to put an end to him. Will she take the remaining Sporex Beast powers that are in the machine and put them inside of Tarek, and will Tarek go from Void Knight to the real soldier counterpart of Precious? I wonder if that's what Tarek eventually turns into, or if maybe that's another Void Queen evolution. I'm not quite sure, but I am finding it fascinating of Tarek being stuck inside of that same capsule as well. Also, another honorable mention, Amelia and Ollie back at it once again. You missed the spot as they're both cleaning their swords in the command center. I mean, guys, the eyes say it all. The way that they're looking at each other, the way that they're smirking at each other. I'm pretty sure Amelia just looked Ollie up and down real quick with her eyes before going back to to cleaning off her swords. But the "you missed the spot" moment in here, definitely very eye-opening and continuing to push the evolution of their relationship into something a little bit further. And then last but not least, guys, the action in here. A couple of things I put in here. Love seeing the Garcias get a Zord of their own with the Terrazord. I can't remember if we've seen the Garcia siblings control a Megazord by themselves before, but I do like the idea that we've got our original three in the T-Rex Champion Zord, and then of course we wind up getting the other two siblings in their own Zord. So we got the Terrazord and the T-Rex Zord, and look great. I absolutely love it. Even having an idea of the split screen for the Zord cockpits where they're communicating with each other, I thought it was a really nice touch, honestly. We do wind up getting a couple new formations. I believe we get the Terra Smash Ultrazord formation. Still no match for the incredible power of Flapnarok in here, which I thought was really impressive. And even in Real Soldier, Flapnarok was a pretty impressive villain in regards to forcing the Rangers to have to push forward and come up with a brand new formation. And we do get the opportunity to finally see that debuted in here, the Primal Ultrazord. And this is the same Ultrazord in which they used on Ravcon. And I really love seeing Zato's sort of uncertainty about using it, right? Considering the ramifications of what happened last time, almost nearly destroying their planet, as we've seen from some of the stock footage or some of the footage that they keep showing from the flashbacks in here. But I put in my notes, even Zato is worried to use it considering the circumstances of what happened last time. But I really love seeing Ollie and Solon come together to go ahead and come up with upgrades that certainly might work, right? I think Ollie suggested the idea of the Terrazord's freezing ability to be able to have that vent through the entire system, so it winds up cooling down the Megazord from overheating itself, and hopefully thus causing the problem that they thus not causing the problem that they had previously. So really great work, man. I do love the idea of seeing the smarts of Ollie and Solon really come together. And the Zord is a beast. I mean, the Primal Ultrazord is insane, to certainly say the least. Seeing just how quickly it wind up dispatching of the villain here as well. And I can't wait to see it in further action. But yeah, the Primal Ultrazord is now available to our Rangers. And who's going to stop them with that? Who certainly knows, man. That was one of the biggest complaints I had about Real Soldier. Like, I think Dino Fury does a better job of having the villains cause the Rangers some difficulty in regards to needing upgrades, whereas when it came to Real Soldier, it just felt like the team just kept getting upgrades and upgrades and upgrades, and they never really truly struggled with against anything until really maybe the very end of the season, sort of thing. So that was always one of my biggest gripes that I had with Real Soldier. But I do think that Dino Fury is handling it relatively well, to certainly say the least. And there was another shot in here that I could not remember if it was from Real Soldier or if this is original Zord footage, but when they grab Flaknarok by the tail and they're spinning them around. Mind you, I love the quote from Izzy in here. I love this for us, guys. The fact that they're spinning the freaking dragon around by their tail. The fact that it spins it around by the tail and it lets it go. There's a shot where it starts like flying through and just busting through several hills along the way. It feels very sort of Dragon Ball Z like whenever Goku punches somebody and they go through like 5 mountains, sort of thing, right? Like that's the vibe that I wind up getting. I could not remember, like that shot was so impressive to me. I could not remember if I saw that in Real Soldier or if that's something that they decided to add in this episode or not. If you guys recall it from Real Soldier, go ahead and let me know. I don't want to say it's original footage when it's not original footage. I just could not remember it because it just really impressed me and popped off the screen for me. But again, this episode, while very heavy in the life lesson of money doesn't buy you happiness, there are aspects to the episode that I enjoyed. The Primal Ultrazord, the action in here was pretty stellar, if you ask me. The relationship and the friendship between Ion along with Izzy, and just a really great direction that we wind up getting in here. Some really smart choices that helped, if you ask me, elevate the episode a little bit more, than to help me enjoy it just a little bit more than what I certainly did. So solid and enjoyable episode for me, man. I'm not necessarily writing home about it, but I am definitely looking forward to the mid-season finale for season 2, to certainly say the least. But overall, everybody continues to do fantastic work, and I enjoyed this episode. Let's see here. But outside of that, guys, these are just simply my A+ opinions. At the end of the day, though, I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. What did you guys think about episode number 10 of season 2 of Dino Fury? Let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below. And if there's anything that I missed, character moments, storyline details, Easter eggs, whatever the case may be, that you guys might have picked up on that you want to further go ahead and continue to talk about, let me know your thoughts in the live chat. And with that, we will transition over to your thoughts. Jordan says definitely Amelia and Ollie forever, for life. That's right, man. They're working towards something there. They're working towards something. I saw it earlier, but yeah. Let's see here. Datilla says, makes me wonder what was actually going on in Area 62. A flip car with 2 suitcases, one full of money and one with a magical collar. Yeah, it makes me wonder, were there 2 people that were driving there? Was it Amelia's mom and dad? You know what I'm saying? Like, did one have the cash, one have the collar? Who was it? You know, there is a great level of mystery about Area 62, and it does make me wonder if there's an episode coming that will open our eyes a little bit more in regards to what's been there, or if Simon Bennett and the rest of the writers will keep it a mystery. Because we have seen some things discovered just inside of Area 62, seeing the monsters going about finding things, right? Like, I think even Slither found like a gemstone, or he found something like in the basement of Area 62. So they clearly did experiments. I would love a flashback sequence to see who actually worked at Area 62 and why it was certainly shut down to begin with. But the layer of mystery that Area 62 adds is fantastic for this series, if you ask me. Blossom says, I sure liked how Izzy and Ion raced each other with their bikes. I honestly thought it was a great way to come into the episode. I truly did. Promoting athleticism, right? Getting some, go out, go for a bike ride. My girlfriend's been asking me to go ride some bikes forever now, so I probably need to do that. Hopefully on a much cooler day than what it is right now. But I thought it was a really great way to go ahead and kick off the episode. Jordan says it was funny that Void Queen couldn't remember Dragnarok's name, bringing back the joke from season 1. That's right. She was. That's right. She was like, "Didn't you have a brother or something like that, or a twin or something like that?" I can't remember his name. I do remember that. That's pretty funny, Jordan. You picked up on that. I honestly forgot all about that. Blossom says Ion was kind of a jerk. He's better than his counterpart Canalo, though. Yeah, much better than Canalo, if you ask me. I mean, Canalo is just a thirst trap. I mean, that's all he is. He's just as thirsty as they come. But yeah, I did like Ion in here. They were both, I will say, Izzy and Ion were both jerkish towards each other for sure. So Rob, my brother has nicknamed Dino Fury that I am sorry season. Listen, can I be honest with you? When I saw Ion apologizing to Izzy, there was a part of me that said, another apology, another I'm sorry. Listen, Sarab, I'm not gonna be as harsh as your brother, but I can see why he calls it that. I certainly can, for sure. It's just one of those things for me where it's like, I get the idea that we have a life lesson, but does it always have to be the case of like oh man, I'm sorry, I fucked up, sort of thing. It feels like every character this season is apologizing for something, and I just think there's maybe other ways that you can put these different lessons across without it always, because it is feeling like, man, every episode somebody's apologizing for something. So I do think there's some truth to that, Sarav. I really do think there's some truth to that. Oh, this is a good one. Emmanuel. He says Izzy was a jerk in this episode. Why is she complaining, said losers, weepers, and mad before at Coach Bella for being a hustler in season one? I mean, listen, you know, I'm sure the fact that Izzy also apologized and said, "Hey, I was a little bit of a jerk too." Listen, the fact that they at least apologized, that's cool with me. They learned their lesson, right? But listen, I think it's different. I don't want to say it's different, Emmanuel, because I do think you make a good point here. But the idea of realizing, like, hey, I opened up a briefcase. Damn, I got me a collar. The second briefcase, cold hard cash. Yeah, I'm sure that would probably make anybody act a fool, honestly, discovering something like that. As mature as I like to think that I am, or even keeled as I am, if I come across a briefcase worth of money, man, I might go ape shit crazy. I They do say money changes people, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just the view of it definitely got Izzy in her hypocritical mode for sure. Emmanuel also says, I really enjoyed Pop Pop's inclusion in the episode. Also, last episode was awesome. Blossom says, Ali and Solon's solutions were really on game today. Oh, yeah, absolutely. They came together great to go ahead and solve the problem for the Primal Megazord. Do you hear my cat? Hold on, let me let my cat out real quick. She probably needs to get out. Hi. Does everybody see you? Look at his face. Say hi. Hi. Okay, come on. Let's go. I put her down and she looked at me like, "Bitch, why you kicking me out?" Let's see here. Video DVD says it was a cool episode. That teleporting attack from Javi and Izzy was sick. The bird selling giving us another amazing fight music with Primal Ultrazord. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, goosebumps. Goosebumps is what bird selling is known to cause with his music. But yeah, I love that teleporting shot video. That was pretty ridiculous. Enrique says, "Is the Primal Ultra Zord reminds of Zato's flashback at Ravcon?" Yeah, it's the same. It's the same Zord that they used on Ravcon in those flashbacks that we're seeing. Jordan says, "I will say that Izzy is terrifying when she gets heated. Absolutely, the way that she comes at her brother sometimes. Yeah, when things don't necessarily go right." You might want to duck and dodge and avoid Izzy for sure. She definitely can be temperamental and let her emotions kind of get the best of her sometimes. But that's kind of what I love about Izzy. I kind of love the idea that she doesn't necessarily feel like your traditional ranger. She certainly does bring her own personality and uniqueness in how she handles certain situations to the forefront. So I kind of dig that aspect about Izzy. I think it might rub some people the wrong way, but there is an aspect of me that I really enjoy that. Datilla says, even Izzy said in this episode that Area 62 was an old military base that was shut down years ago. My question was, why was it shut down? Probably all the crazy experiments, but I do hope we get an explanation. Jordan says Kitty Fury. Absolutely. I know you said you're lucky that I have a cat, Blossom, but trust me, my allergies don't think so. My allergies do not think so. Blossom says, I'm a sucker for when Rangers subtly flirt with each other. Yeah, we definitely got that in this episode. Oh, you missed the spot. Oh, thanks. And then they just take a quick second to just glare at each other. Okay, okay. Somebody cool these two off, man. Somebody cool these two characters off. They, Ollie's seeing different ways now. Even Ollie's becoming a little bit more open-minded to the supernatural, trying to be, a little bit nicer to Amelia, and she's kind of liking the new Ollie and the support that she's getting from him, sort of thing. Definitely making her look at him a certain type of way now. So yeah, man, I like them together. I do. All right, guys. Um, I think other than that, I think that will probably wrap up our review for episode number 10. And then we do have one more episode of Power Rangers that we're going to be getting to you guys for next week. Again, I will keep you guys up to date whether or not we have a live episode of A Plus More Phenomenal next week. If not, because my uncle will in fact be town, I kind of want to show him around the Dallas Fort Worth area a little bit. So if we don't have an episode next week, it will be pushed to the following weekend. So I will definitely keep you guys posted as we get closer to the finale for wrapping up for Dino Fury. If anything, Jordan says, get a room. Get a room. Yeah, those two definitely need to. I am curious if we'll see a kiss this season between those two characters. I don't know if that's a little bit too forced. I mean, we already have Fern and Izzy, and now it seems like they're building Ollie and Amelia up. I don't necessarily know if I need a kiss, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think the fact that I feel, well, we did get one a little bit in Beast Morpher, so I guess we don't necessarily need a kiss. I don't necessarily need a kiss, but I'm cool with the idea of these two relationships actually blossoming on this series for sure. The following weekend is that the 28th, says Datilla. I'll check real quick, Datilla. Enrique says, when will the second half of Dino Fury be released? That I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that maybe we get something in June, since it'll be about 11 weeks or so, if not a little bit longer, until about June. So I'm wondering if they plan on dropping it in June or July. There's a part of me that's thinking August, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong in that regards. So yeah, next weekend is the 21st. So the following weekend, the 28th of May. Yeah, so maybe the 28th of May, we'll do our episode 11 review. But I'll keep you posted. Excuse me. I'll keep you guys posted if we decide to do it next week. What's up, Card? Appreciate you coming through. This was a really, really great episode. I loved it. Watched it 5 times yesterday. I probably watched it 3 times over this week's time period. So I'm really glad you liked it, Carter. I'm really glad that it really worked for you. I'm kind of curious what aspects of this week's episode you were certainly a fan of. Definitely go ahead and let me know in the comment section, man. We are going to go ahead and change course here and go ahead and move on to our next topic in the meantime. As Power Rangers continues to be back in the news, especially the reboot, as it seems as though there speculation that perhaps the title of the newest Power Ranger movie may have in fact been revealed, or at least the way that we are being presented as Power Rangers certainly will be changing on this reboot. Now, while this article that I'm going to show you guys comes to us from Mega Power Brazil, always coming through with their great Power Ranger news, the information that I wind up learning this about first, before they wrote an article about it, was actually over on Twitter by a gentleman by the name of Michael. So I will go ahead and pull this up for you guys, because right around the corner, well, I don't want to say right around the corner, who knows how long it's going to be before we get ourselves some Power Ranger movie news. But this little adjustment here is a little eye-opening in regards to what could possibly certainly be coming. I'm not expecting legit Power Ranger reboot news for quite some time, even though I believe Jensaku a couple of weeks back mentioned that idea that Deadline had already done an interview with Jonathan Entwistle in regards to it. And so hopefully, if anything, maybe that'll be dropping here within the next couple of weeks. With Jonathan Entwistle making some changes to his profile, I do wonder if we are preparing for that information to eventually be revealed here in an interview. But let's go ahead and dive into this as we talk a little bit about the Power Rangers reboot and a reimagining for Jonathan Entwistle. We've been hearing it's not quite a priority when it comes to Hasbro, but things are changing and things are certainly moving behind the scenes. And let's go ahead and dive into this. So this week over on Twitter, a Twitter handle by the name of Michael. Let's see if I can pull this up here for you guys. This is at morphine underscore Mike02. What's up, Michael? At morphine underscore Mike02. He says, Jonathan Entwistle just updated his Twitter profile and changed Power Rangers to the Power Rangers or the Power Rangers, however you want to pronounce it. Could this be hinting at the title of the new movie / show? And he goes on to show that, yes, Jonathan Entwistle has, in fact, updated it, because I can tell you for sure, there was no the before Power Rangers. So he has officially changed it. Now, to jump on top of that, if you thought maybe the idea of, oh, Jonathan just changed the title, no big deal. Well, I present you aspect number 2 here. This one actually coming to us from Mega Power Brazil. And I'll even translate this tweet. It says the 2017 Power Ranger movie page changed the old @ which was Power Rangers movie, to the Power Rangers. So not only now do we have Jonathan Entwistle, who has changed the title of Power Rangers to the Power Rangers, but also if you go to the actual Power Rangers page itself on Twitter, the verified page, mind you, see it's got the check mark. It was the original Power Rangers movie, but now if you look at the @ it says at the Power Rangers. At the Power Rangers. So that's 2 places that have officially changed the title of Power Rangers. And it says, do we already have the title of the next movie? And some, if I can be perfectly honest with you guys, I think we do. I think we do. I think this is a nice change of character here. Not to say that it's a crazy change, but for years it's simply just been Power Rangers. For some reason, when I think of the Power Rangers, there is a little bit of a maturity about it. It feels like a grown-up aspect about it, if you will. We had the Avengers back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. We've had the Suicide Squad as of recent, after they just put out the Suicide Squad movie a couple of years back. We've had countless Batman movies, but we recently just got the Batman. It feels very much like it's a way to not only show the franchise's growth, but also its separation, if you will, from what came previous to us. So this would feel like a natural movie title, if anything. And so I will take the stab in the dark and say, when they make an official announcement for the Power Ranger movie, I do think that the title of the movie will be the Power Rangers. I think this is the subtle change that Power Rangers and Jonathan Entwistle is going to do. I'm pretty sure they probably speculate that, man, the way that we have some sleuths around here in Ranger Nation community, people are going to do their detective work and are going to quickly pick up on it. When you make changes like that, I think you make changes knowing that people are going to talk about it, or at least catch it. And so, if you want to tease something, this is a great way to certainly go about doing it before giving us an official announcement for it. But I do think that they're onto something here. I do think that the fact that we've gotten 2 verified accounts here from Jonathan Entwistle and the Power Rangers webpage themselves to go ahead and change it, I believe so. But let's go into the article here just a little bit, because again, this is from Mega Power Brazil. They probably just talk a little bit about what we just mentioned here. but does say the title of the Power Ranger movie may have been revealed. Following in the wake of the major productions such as The Batman and The Avengers, the title of the next Power Ranger movie may have been revealed. Jonathan Entwistle's reimagined universe of Power Rangers is one of the most anticipated productions by Power Ranger fans. Announced about 2 years ago, the project has suffered a series of delays due to the pandemic, but it looks like it's taking shape more and more. After having confirmed on Instagram that the Rangers team will be unreleased in the sense of this is going to be a brand new team. It is not that is that it's not based on any previous season. Jonathan Entwistle, along with Hasbro, released perhaps another clue involving the feature film. The director and the creator updated his bio on Twitter with the title "The Power Rangers." If this title is confirmed, it will not be new for the public that consumes superhero movies, as we currently had. And here it comes: the Batman, the Suicide Squad, and back in 2012, the Avengers. So yeah, little bits of information. Jonathan Entwistle did tease a couple of weeks ago the idea, like somebody said, I'm trying to remember what the question was that they asked. Um, like what season should get a Power Ranger movie next. And I believe Jonathan Entwistle said, "What about a new one?" In a sense of implying that we're going to have a new team that winds up actually helming this brand new Power Ranger movie. And if that winds up being the case, the fact here that Hasbro has now released another clue and changing the title on Twitter to The Power Rangers, it feels very definitive, if you will. Like this is sort of our team. This is where we're launching off at, right? The Suicide Squad movie wind up really bringing us a brand new team, maybe some returning characters to say the least, but it definitely felt like a new team to say the least. The Avengers, this was our first time bringing the Avengers together for the Avengers movie. So this feels very much maybe like a first time establishment, maybe of a brand new team. If you look at something like the Batman, while we've had iterations of the Batman certainly separates itself from the others because not only did they get a younger Robert Pattinson, they definitely plan on keeping this guy around to be their definitive Batman. So the idea that we're getting stuck with these thes at the beginning of these titles, for me, when I think of it being attached to Power Rangers, not only does it make sense, but if you are trying to reboot and reimagine, you definitely want to go ahead and separate yourself from the rest of the pack in regards to what you're doing and presenting something brand new to let people know this is our definitive Power Ranger team that we're now starting from scratch, reboot, reimagined. This is the team of the Power Rangers coming together, hopefully for the first time in this movie or whatever the case may be, and really giving us something fantastic to look forward to. So I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea. Again, we could speculate this could end up not being the title, but again, I think the fact that Jonathan changed it, the Power Ranger verified Twitter page also changed their at the Power Rangers. It feels like there is a significant change that's certainly coming, and it would not surprise me if the Power Rangers is in fact going to be the next title for the movie. So I personally think so. If I had to put my money on it, I think that's what all signs are certainly leading to. But again, these are just simply my A plus opinions. At the end of the day, I definitely want to go ahead and know your guys' thoughts. So what do you guys think? Am I thinking way too much into this? Or are you smelling what Adam's cooking? I'm kind of curious to know what you guys thinking here. What's up, Yusai? Appreciate you coming through today, man. Thank you very much. Ibase in the house too. Good old Jack Daniels. This 5 o'clock somewhere, guys. 5 o'clock somewhere. What's up, Morgan? Appreciate you coming through. Hello, Morgan. Good to see you in here today. Jordan says back half could be August since it's Power Rangers month. Oh, that's a good call, right? And we also do have Power Morphicon that month also. So yeah, there was a part of me. I was just thinking of like spacing things out. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, I would still take August. August, I think, would be a good release date, but it depends on how quickly they certainly want Dino Fury to release. Let's see here. Enrique says new title for as the Power Rangers is good. Again, not confirmed, but definitely certainly showing us some teases and clues that it certainly could be. I'm definitely leaning that way. I'm kind of curious if you guys think so also. The Power Rangers sounds like James Gunn's The Suicide. Let's hope that they don't screw it like the last time. Well, they didn't screw up the Suicide Squad movie. If you ask me, I was actually a really big fan of what James Gunn did with that movie. Every movie that the three movies that they've showcased to us with the in front of it have been spectacular films. The Avengers, the Batman, and the Suicide Squad. I was really impressed with what James Gunn wound up doing. Doesn't mean that Power Rangers is going to be as good as any of those movies, but it definitely certainly gives me hope. But I dig it. Dattila in her wrestling reference. This kind of reminds me of when Brian Kendrick became the Brian Kendrick. That's right. Put some respect on his name. Doomsday says the Power Rangers. That sounds really cool, like kind of the Avengers and Suicide Squad. Absolutely, absolutely. Nanditha said, Adam, the 2017 thingy is false. I think a bunch of people were debunking it. Interesting. Let's go. Let me go. They were debunking it, huh? Let's see what we got. Oh, why is it that? Hold on. Hold on. Something just came through my Twitter here from Jin Saku, kind of last minute. Hold on a second. Give me a second here, guys. Let's see here. Um, so what was I looking for? Okay, at Power Rangers. Yeah, I mean the 2017 movie. When I pull it up, it does say at the Power Rangers. So that's definitely um, they definitely did change it. I am looking at it right on its website. There is something else that just came through though that is a little bit. Why did I just read? Sorry, guys, if there's like a big, there's something like really. Hold on, do we have like a breaking news here? I think we got a breaking news here, guys. Give me a minute. I don't want to get this together properly. I don't know this. Okay, okay, guys. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I'm not gonna reflect on this as of yet, but I do want to. So what's interesting, there is speculation going around officially today. There is some speculation here. I'm gonna pull this up right now, guys, because we literally just talked about Mega Power Brazil bringing up Jonathan Entwistle's um, page on Twitter, right? Um, and then look at this, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here for you. Jonathan Entwistle's page. If you look at his description, there's no Power Ranger reference anymore. There's no Power Ranger reference anymore. There's no Power Ranger reference anymore. Wow, that's I believe Jin also just mentioned something. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Okay, so he did say, he says, I'm hearing Jonathan Entwistle may be leaving Power Rangers, but then he does do an update and say, damn, I guess he just took it out of his bio. I'm gonna need something confirmed. I'm gonna need something confirmed. I'm gonna need something confirmed. There are two things here that I am kind of curious about. And I'll leave this up. Let me go ahead and pull this up here for you guys, because with this coming really quickly, I don't want to give you guys any false information that's not confirmed. But yeah, according to Jonathan Entwistle's, there is another AKA universe. I don't know who that is, but they said in a statement made by Hasbro, we saddened to announce Jonathan Entwistle no longer will be in charge of Power Ranger movie reboot. He worked hard and had a dedication for our movie, but we have decided to go a different direction. We wish him luck on his future. I don't know where that is. Like, I wish that this AKA universe backup would actually post, like, if there was a press release from Hasbro, where that press release is, instead of just mentioning it. You know what I mean? It could be a simple case of, did he just take that information because Jonathan Entwistle doesn't have it on his page any longer, or what? But it does look like, according to his page, he took it off. Power Rangers is no longer on there. I am kind of curious as to whether or not we're going to get ourselves an update from Hasbro or some sort of press release to certainly let us know. Especially considering the fact that literally just back in March he was promoting this movie. So I am kind of curious what's certainly happening right now. Um, yeah, Jordan also says he could have just taken it off just to keep it low key. Absolutely. I mean, the fact that we've had two sites, the Power Rangers and Jonathan Entwistle, both change their signatures or their things to the Power Rangers on there. It is one of those things as to whether or not were they not supposed to release that information. I'm kind of curious if Hasbro reached out to Jonathan and was like, maybe you might want to take that off. But even that's the case, the idea of still keeping Power Rangers on there, if you're still attached to it, should certainly mean something, right? Like, I get the idea of you not wanting to hint at what the title is, but you've had Power Rangers on your page since you've been announced as a part of it, right? So if the idea is I changed the title to the Power Rangers and Hasbro doesn't want me to reveal that, instead of completely removing it from your profile, why not certainly go ahead and just keep it as Power Rangers, right? So the fact that it's not on there does make me suspicious as hell as to what's going on. Again, I'm not going to sit here and confirm anything for you guys because it is very much up in the air. I'm also trying to talk to another one of my connects in Power Rangers also to kind of get some information. What is going on here? Shit is just hitting the fan all of a sudden. Let's see what's happening. I'm gonna try and get you guys. So take this all with a grain of salt for right now, guys. Okay, until we certainly get to hearing more. But yeah, the only thing that I'm hearing from Jin is he says I'm hearing Jonathan Entwistle. I'm hearing Jonathan Entwistle might be leaving Power Rangers. He says a big might be, but it's not looking so good. Yeah, man. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is blowing my mind right now, man. I want to say necessarily blowing my mind, but it is definitely one of those cases. What's up, Tony Robinson? I appreciate you certainly coming through, man. Let's see here what you guys are saying right now because this is very sort of breaking news. Um, Doomsday says, "Oh wow." Sarab says, "I think this has been a prevalent rumor for a long time now." Oh bloody God, says Sarav. DHR2 says, "I don't believe this yet at all." I mean, hey, like I said, we're not confirming or anything like that right now. We're not confirming anything. It just seems interesting. Um, we got Midwest in the house. What's up, Midwest? Appreciate you coming in here. Trent says everything is so confusing. Listen, I will say this: is it confusing? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But I think something that we also have to take into consideration here, this movie has never had a release date. Okay. So, as far as that goes, this movie is very much in flux at any particular point in time. The fact that it's never had a release date, the new CEO, Chris Cox, has talked about the idea of prioritizing other things, right? That Power Rangers isn't necessarily a priority, certainly at the moment. Um, to me, it always has seemed as though, yes, I can understand the no priority aspect because you do have a Transformers movie certainly coming out. And then you also have a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out in 2023. Those should certainly be your main focus, right? So, if anything, I understand the not priority. But now we literally just had Jonathan Entwistle like a month or so ago talk about this movie, um, and now the potential of him not being a part of it any longer. Um, it's just really not good signs, man. It's if anything, I will say this: it is very much in early development. This movie certainly is, right? Nothing has been certainly set in stone. So while I understand the disappointment for Power Ranger fans, because I think a lot of us were certainly expecting a movie in, say, 2023. Right now, I think if anything, I'm not expecting a movie till 2024 or 2025 if we do certainly get one at this point in time. But it is one of those things where while Hasbro has certainly bolstered and about what it is that they want to certainly create for us. Unfortunately, man, like I said before, when it comes to new CEOs, once they come into place, sometimes things just unfortunately change and they have a different mindset. And there's always been rumors, especially since Brian Goldner passed away, that this new CEO isn't as much of a champion as, say, Power Rangers as maybe Brian Goldner certainly was, or doesn't necessarily have the same vision that he certainly might, right? So it's going to be interesting in here. Like, am I worried about the movie? Sure, I am worried about the movie, but I rather them make their changes and really get a better handle on what it is that they want to create for Power Rangers instead of this happening sort of very last minute, right? Like this feels still pre-production, still the case of we haven't even casted yet, still the idea of, hey, we may be through our second, third, maybe fourth run of the script so far and haven't really gotten to a final cut of what it is that we certainly want to do, right? So I think in hindsight, as frustrating and confusing as it is for us fans, we have been told one thing for such a long period of time because, again, it was Brian Goldner and his Hasbro telling us one thing. Now that we've got a new CEO in Chris Cox, who some people probably think he's being a bit of a cock right now himself, in regards to how he's handling Power Rangers, it is one of those things where our our mindset and our understanding of how Hasbro wants to handle Power Rangers should probably change course in regards to how Power Rangers is being handled as of currently. So again, we've never gotten ourselves a strict release date as of yet. So to me, it doesn't necessarily feel like a promise that they haven't kept as of yet, because I still think that there is a promise out there of what they want to be able to do, but maybe want to just certainly take more of their time to eventually get to that particular point. We're definitely going to have to see here, but it still feels as though that Power Ranger movie and development is very much in pre-production and early development, than actually having been so far ahead in things that they want to create and all of a sudden now changing course, sort of thing, right? So I still don't even know. It feels very much like they haven't even fully gotten their footing as of yet. So I am going to be curious to see how this all plays out, man. I really am. And let me go back over to Twitter and see if like there's anything else that's been dropping right now. We've got a couple of notifications. Yeah, so I'm thinking right now, I'm really feeling as though I'm feeling like as of right now, our expectations should certainly be very even kill. Um, I'm just trying to get you guys all prepared, because it is one of those things where it feels like things are changing. The momentum has certainly shifted. Um, what's up, Alexis? Alexis says Jonathan Entwistle leaving Power Rangers is so sad, and Simon Bender better not leave Power Rangers as well because he's such a nice guy. I mean, who knows? If anything, maybe this opens up opportunities for Simon Bennett if he wants to come back. If Hasbro has plans on changing course, maybe the 30th anniversary isn't necessarily the only thing that we're going to get. We'll certainly talk a little bit more about some other things that we're going to be getting also, but maybe there's hope for Simon Bennett to certainly return in some capacity or not. Um, Tony Robinson says, I just want things to certainly pan out for Power Rangers. And I do too. I absolutely do too. Could it get there? Most definitely. But I do think it will require us some patience because, again, Hasbro never gave us a full, hard release date on when to expect any brand new movie or a reboot or a reimagining, just that they certainly had plans for it and were in development for it. Unfortunately, because of that, things do fall apart. Things change, mindsets change. New ideas certainly come up, flipping of scripts, going in new directions. All this stuff happens in early development. The fact that we're not even supposed to be privy to this information, you know what I mean? Like that's not information that we're even supposed to truly know. While they certainly take their time in trying to put together what it is that they certainly want to. So if this does come to fruition, yeah, it absolutely is a bit of a bummer. Um, and if anything, it'll be interesting to kind of see what that means for Power Rangers in the future. Is this something that they still want to create in regards to a cinematic universe? Um, I am curious if things that happened with Netflix recently, with them losing subscribers and stuff, shutting down maybe some of their animation. I wonder if this has kind of put a damper on what it is that Netflix and Power Rangers want to produce. You mix that with a new CEO that has more priorities towards Dungeons and Dragons than other things. I think we should all start maybe tampering some expectation lowering here. And if it is true that Jonathan Entwistle is no longer attached to it, again, I feel like if you take your name off of something, you're no longer attached to it. I think like For me, it was definitely a case of okay, so maybe Hasbro felt some type of way of Jonathan putting the Power Rangers on there as the official title. But the fact that the 2017 Twitter handle still has at the Power Rangers there, that's interesting to me. But I think if Hasbro felt some way about you teasing the title, you just erase the and keep Power Rangers on your profile if you're still attached. This feels very much like he's not attached. Again, I'm not confirming that, but just based off of what we've seen visually for ourselves here today of his name not being um attached to it any longer, there is a part of me that feels like he's that they're definitely going in a different direction. Talk about breaking news, man. Talk about breaking news today. I was not expecting to have to talk about that today at all, as I really had big hopes for what Jonathan and also was certainly going to create. But I am very much under the impression now that Hasbro really is taking their time. Hasbro really is changing course. What that course is, does that still look like a cinematic universe? Is that more of a focus of, hey, maybe we don't necessarily want to do a movie right now. Maybe just if we're going to do something, maybe we'll do a brand new original series. I have no idea, guys. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass and tell you things that you want to hear because I honestly just don't know. So I'll keep you guys posted, though, for sure, once we get more information. Let's see here. DHR2 says this has really concerned me right now. The hell am I going to go to sleep tonight? Yeah, it's going to be hard to sleep, man. Chris Cross, what's up, Chris Cross? I realize Adam's the only person on YouTube that I'm aware of that does live viewer questions. Interesting. Yeah, I don't mind interacting with you guys. Usai, what's up? He says Netflix definitely had to take effect. This Power Ranger news, tough stuff for Hasbro. It's probably a combination of a little bit of everything. Trent says Jonathan also removed another title besides Power Rangers. Maybe he removed it for no reason. He did have Willow up there. And then when he departed Willow, I remember he took Willow off of his Instagram. So, the part of me, Trent, wants to say maybe it's not actually a big deal, but there is a part of me that thinks that it is a big deal. I think you taking your name taking Power Rangers completely off your profile. If Hasbro had an issue with him teasing or revealing the Power Rangers, then just go in there, hit that quick edit button, boom, remove the and keep Power Rangers if you're still attached. But he doesn't have Power Rangers anywhere on there. Wow, man. We'll see. We'll see, guys. So when it comes to the Power Ranger reboot possibly being put on hold for right now, or at least things moving a little bit slower and maybe taking see, guys, let me go ahead and pull this one up. Even like powerranger.com is now running with this bit of news too. I am really curious if like Deadline, Variety, or anybody else is going to bring this information up also. Yeah, this is from perranger.com. Update: the Power Rangers, along with Fred and Ginger, have been removed from Entwistle's bio. Oh, that was the other title somebody said, Fred and Ginger. Could it mean something more than simply removing projects still in pre-production? Who knows? Yeah, man. Interesting. We'll see, man. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But I will keep my eye out for something like Variety, Deadline, The Wrap, Hollywood Reporter to see if they jump on board with this bit of information and reveal some information to us. I'm like Googling Jonathan Entwistle's name right now to see if there's any articles out there that are bringing anything up. But right now, I'm not showing anything outside of him literally talking about Power Rangers back in March, as early as March. So this feels like this is something that really came on board. What's up, Danny? Appreciate you certainly coming through. All right, guys. So yeah, he's Nandita says, I think it's best to go forward without expecting anything, or at least lower your expectations a little bit, and at least in regards to the speed in which you want to see things certainly done. I do think we're going to get some big news here within the next couple of weeks, and once we get it, guys, we certainly will keep you posted. Okay. So yeah, guys. And shout out to Common Rider for certainly coming through as well. We do have other topics to certainly get through here today, so let's see if we could run through it. And despite the fact that while damn, Adam, did I not make a? I hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I not make a cover for that? Hold on a second. Man, I'm slacking today, guys. Oh, I did. I just didn't pull it up. Okay. Our next topic that we certainly need to go ahead and talk a little bit about is we do have other projects certainly in the works. Okay. Things that we certainly don't necessarily have to worry about, because the 30th anniversary, at least, is certainly still going to happen. I am going to be interested to see exactly where this goes. Good old Jinsaku here this past week, though, teased that the idea of the 30th anniversary and some people that certainly could be coming back. Over on his Twitter space, he did mention the idea that he had got an opportunity to check out a list of invites for people possibly to return to the 30th anniversary in here. And I don't necessarily know if this certainly means that Brennan Mejia will be returning to Power Rangers. He says, and the streak continues. I just wonder if that's a case of he's at least on the invite list to certainly come back. Whether or not Brennan does come back, we'll certainly have to see. But I am really interested to kind of see where this goes. Brennan is definitely one that I certainly would like to return. If we do have a brand new Ranger for the 30th anniversary in regards to Yen being presented to us, the Illuminati also confirmed the fact of David Yost returning for a guest appearance in at least one episode. It does make me curious as to who else is certainly returning. One of the things that we kind of talked about here a couple of weeks ago was, how would we like this new team that Yen maybe joins up with to certainly look like? One of the things that I kind of mentioned was the idea that I really would like to see her surrounded by more current iterations of Power Rangers. So I'm talking either Neo Saban Rangers or Disney era Rangers, maybe picking 4 or 5 from that particular season to join up with Yen to kind of create their own unique new Power Ranger team. But I also like the idea, if they wanted to bring back some of the OGs and the legacy Rangers, you then maybe go back into, say, that Saban era and maybe bring them back for more quicker cameos, or maybe 1 or 2 sort of episodes, right? We still don't know what the 30th anniversary episode wise is going to give us. I'm still leaning between that 6 to 8 episodes. But what the Illuminati did shed some light on for us a couple of weeks back was the idea that these episodes were going to be longer. Think 45, 44-minute long episodes. So anywhere between 6 to 8, I'm hoping, that's speculation on my part, of 44-minute episodes, I think would be really great in regards to really a great focus on story, which I believe Jinsaku kind of hinted at in his in his Twitter space. Also, the fact that it would be story focused, which give the opportunity for the writing to breathe, for these characters to really show what they're more than capable of, and maybe we do get the OGs into some capacity. Now, again, this is just speculation in regards to so take it with a grain of salt. But just recently, Jinsaku did mention the idea that he believes that there may be some OG Rangers returning. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. The idea that he put up the idea that maybe like Zach, that Walter might be coming back, Austin, along with Billy. I'm keep using their character names: Walter, Austin, Amy, and David as the possible returning for the OGs. Now, what capacity they certainly might have, who knows? But as of right now, I'm at least expecting David Yost. If the other OGs certainly pop up, that'll definitely be interesting. Now, because what Jinsaku was referring to yesterday, the way that he was kind of breaking things down, it kind of almost felt a little quantum continuum to me. So I am kind of curious as to what's certainly happening behind the scenes when it comes to Power Rangers in regards to the 30th anniversary, whether or not they've managed to take what David Yost has created in Quantum Continuum and sort of change the script on the 30th anniversary to fit that and work really well together. I don't know. But I'm kind of hoping that the 30th anniversary is certainly its own thing. When I think of the 30th anniversary, while I certainly don't mind the OGs being in it, I still want David Yost to be able to do his quantum continuum thing and that be the focus of the OGs. And this be more a celebration of, yeah, the OGs can certainly pop up. If David Yost comes back for one episode, maybe we get an Amy, Walter, Austin sighting also for that same episode or two. It would be pretty cool if Yen actually does come across them to some capacity, maybe early in the season before she goes on and maybe embarks, say, onto her own adventure with crossing over with other Rangers. That's certainly a possibility as well. I am kind of curious who you guys would certainly like to see return if that's the case, right? One of the things that has been hinted was the idea that we might be getting ourselves a brand new team with Yen sort of being the leader. And I think that would be actually pretty neat. So Brennan was definitely on my list of somebody I would love to see show up again. I would even take Devin, honestly, if he wanted to come back, from Beast Morphers. I think that would be pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe I don't know if they want to make this like another Forever Red 2 and just have every Ranger that returns be another former Red Ranger or not. I wouldn't mind Jen coming back from Time Force or even West if that's the case. There's a handful of characters I personally would certainly like to definitely see return. But I do think the 30th anniversary is going to be something special, something unique, something that we haven't quite seen before. But it does seem as though, whether or not the OGs return, I have had people tell me two different things in that regards. I have had Jin mention the idea that he's heard that the original OGs are in fact returning. And I've also heard from somebody else that that's not necessarily the plan for the 30th anniversary. So it's one of the things that we always try and let you know, speculation. Take it with a grain of salt until we certainly get things confirmed for you guys around here. But it feels very open to the idea, especially with what the Illuminati has mentioned in the past, that we might be getting several Rangers certainly coming back in some capacity. Who those are is very much up in the air. The only person, if you ask me, that feels like it's been confirmed is David Yost. Everything else as of right now is probably going to be a little bit more speculation. But we'll see what happens, man. I would like to know who you guys would definitely like to see return in this project. Datilla says she would love to see Xander return. Eric would be great. Alyssa, Avita, yeah, I would love Avita return for sure. Ryan would be pretty neat also. I am kind of curious like how much of an impact they'll have. I would be curious to see how this kind of comes together. I really would. Side note here from Morgan. She says, Void Queen reminds me of Queen Banshira from Lightspeed Rescue and Shakina and Astronema, all combined into one. Saram says, I heard Yen, Trini's daughter, will make an appearance as the Yellow Ranger. That again, I has not been confirmed. I have not quite heard that as of yet. But we'll see what happens. Yusa says, bring back Jack. Absolutely. That'd be pretty cool. What's he doing these days? I think he's on a show, isn't he? I think he's on a television show already. Common Writer says more Disney era Rangers would certainly be nice. That would be pretty cool. That's why, the Vita, I would really love to see Vita certainly come back. I definitely would like 2 or 3 from the Disney era. Maybe 2 or 3 from the maybe 2 or 3 from the Neo Saban era. And then if we do want to go ahead and really have some cameos, I think the legendary OGs would make for great cameos in here. Nanditha said it would be cool to see Liana Ramirez come back. You're preaching to the choir, man. I would love to see her come back also. So yeah, guys, we'll definitely continue to keep you posted in regards to what's going on. So yeah, they definitely continue to have plans for the 30th anniversary. It is certainly coming along. So we'll definitely have to see how that winds up hitting us. But outside of the 30th anniversary, one of the thing that one of the other things that is in the news these days is David Yost's quantum continuum that continues to get more and more um, traction, if you ask me. I mean, I feel like I continue to see David Yost talking about this more. Nandita, who's currently in our chat, has been doing a fantastic job with the pushing of quantum continuum over the past several months, if not, weeks, if not months, when it comes to David Yost's work. So there is definitely a building of an excitement. And the fact that David Yost continues to tease quantum continuum should certainly say something. And one of the things that we talked about around here when it was announced that David Yost was going to return to Power Rangers for the 30th anniversary, one of the things that we talked about was, man, what did Hasbro have to do or give up in order to get David Yost to certainly return? Because he's always mentioned he would love to return to Power Rangers, but if he was going to return, it would need to be in a much bigger role, not just a brief sort of cameo. So the fact that he's literally coming back for at least one episode in the 30th anniversary feels like that's not something that David Yost would normally go for unless his time on screen was impactful and that he knew or was guaranteed the idea that Billy would still play a significant role somewhere in the franchise down the line at some point in time. And so there is a part of me that does think that Hasbro has granted David Yost his wish and maybe has greenlit Quantum Continuum. Again, the fact that he continues to push it feels more like not just trying to acquire support for it, but the fact of we got the support. Now this is more of a reality. Let me show you what I've got working. Again, nothing's been confirmed for Quantum Continuum, but the teases that continue to come from David Yost surprise me to the point to where I just keep thinking to myself, yeah, there's something here. I do think that there's something here. So let's go ahead and dive into David Yost's current tease when it comes to Power Rangers Quantum Continuum. And believe it or not, guys, it's weapons. It's weapons. No longer are we getting just script pages to get an idea of who these characters are, where they're at in their lives. We're getting weapons, guys. David Yost over on Twitter posted hashtag Quantum Continuum. And let me go ahead and pull this up here for you guys. And he even has a quote in here as well saying, "We're coming for you." And as you can see, he's got two sets of weapons in here. We got the power bow, and then of course we have ourselves the power lance. What is fascinating about both of these, though, is that where you expect the power coins of their representative um, their representative dinosaurs to certainly be placed at, now it looks like they're scarabs or some sort of beetle of some sort in regards to the medallions or the power coins that they have come across in here. So there's the power bow and that's the power lance. And I do wonder if it's a case of, hey, these are just concepts of the weapons, right? Like, I wonder if he put them together in the sense of like he just found pictures and then had somebody recolor them and change aspects of them to kind of show us what his weapon design certainly might look like. But the fact again that he's teasing weapons, I mean, yeah, there looks like there's even shadows. I don't know if that's a literal shadow or what. If this is like a actual concept weapon that's been built and ready to go, or if it is just a concept art of something that they want to go ahead and create. But I mean, this screams Billy and Amy all day. And it does make me wonder, has their power set changed over the years since we've last seen them? Have they acquired new abilities? I am really curious, man. I am really curious, but I love to see this from David Yost. People are getting hyped for it for sure. I believe he probably said some other things as well. Let me see if I can find what else David Yost wind up saying. Where you at, David? There you go. Let's see what else he's got on his yeah, he keeps posting. Oh, here we go. Here's more from David Yost because he keeps talking about it. Nandita said, seriously asking, what do you look forward to seeing the most in the quantum continuum? The cast reuniting, the kids, their careers, fart jokes. David Yost says, yes, all of these, all of these. He's ready for all of those. Um, and then he also goes on to say in here, um, somebody asked Evil Rangers from an alternate universe, talking about the weapons, and he says, unfortunately, no. So if you're wondering the idea of like, oh, the weapons look different, are these Evil Rangers? No, according to David Yost, he says no. There are no Evil Rangers, and there is no alternate universe. Good guesses though. And so Nanditha said, whoa, that means something so new. OMG. Into which David Yost winds up responding. He says, I'm a little worried the villains will steal the show. I'm a little worried the villains will steal the show. So David Yost is not shy, is not shy about talking about Quantum Continuum. I'm a little worried the villains will steal the show, feeling like sounding very confident that this show has been picked up, like it's gonna happen. Um, and then of course showcasing us the brand new weapons for our Power Rangers. It feels like not evil Rangers. This feels very much like can I get like a Ranger Slayer Kimberly Hart to like I want to see Amy as Kimberly with like I don't want to say a completely different persona, but I definitely want to see how these Rangers have grown. What trials, what tribulations, what milestones in their life have they all certainly hit to make them the Rangers that they are today? Like what adventures have we found them go on in the past that have, you know, that suffered losses, new power sets, perhaps also maybe dropping the power, um, maybe dropping the dinosaur aspect of things. And if those are beetles and scarabs, who's to say that the Power Rangers haven't picked up some sort of like Egyptian level sort of Power Rangers abilities from the morphing grid or tapped into something else completely different that's more like Egyptian themed? You know what I mean? I am really curious to kind of see the growth and everything that certainly happened. And that's one of the reasons why, again, you know, I know people say that they're tired of MMPR and Hasbro focusing on them so incredibly much. And I get the pushback for sure. But if there's growth involved, if there's a new formula of creating a Power Rangers story that we haven't quite seen, I'm always going to be open to that. And I've always wanted to see what these Rangers are going to be like in their older lives. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that this has been picked up, and I'm hoping that we get something official here from David Yost because, again, he keeps talking about it. And once you start putting out concept art and start showing weapons, this is starting to feel more and more like a reality to me each and every day. So if you guys are hyped for Quantum Continuum, let your voice be heard. Let Hasbro know you want to certainly see this. Hashtag it, you know, at them, if you will. All in good tastes, please. All in good tastes. I'm sure there's a petition that's going around. Also, if you haven't signed it, please go ahead and do so. But if you're liking what you're seeing and you're liking what you're hearing from David Yost and you want to see it, definitely go ahead and let it be known for sure. Your voice, hopefully, will definitely be heard, guys. But yeah, so great stuff, man. Appreciated David Yost for coming through and giving us something to certainly talk about here today. What do you guys are saying though in the live chat? Midwest says, what if Billy comes back as some sort of Aquitian warrior? It's possible, man. It's possible. Maybe that's what the designs are on there. Nanditha says they look sexy. Oh my god. Datilla says, "Oh my god." Doomsday, I just got chills. Blossom loving him. Oh, geez, oh, Julie, the weapons look cool, don't they though? Don't they though? They look great if you ask me. What's up, Robert? Appreciate you coming through today, man. Appreciate you coming through. Let's see here. Sarav says they're all black though. Could it be that some twisted version of the blue and pink Rangers, maybe not Billy and Kimberly, wield those weapons? I mean, listen, it's a possibility, right? I mean, he does mention the idea that he's worried that the villains will steal the show. So maybe it's not a case of a new power set for our Rangers, but maybe some. It did. He did say not evil rangers from an alternate or alternate universes. Um, so I don't know, Sarav. I don't know, but that's an interesting guess, though. Oh, he also said Nandita says he also claimed that they were not the Rangers' weapons, which oops shook me a little. Midnight says Egyptian. Now we're getting into midnight, Moon Knight territory. I mean, yeah, that's just speculation on my part, just based off of the symbols and the power coins that we're certainly seeing there. That's all. Blossom says, I sure want to see this. I'm in the same camp as you, Blossom. I definitely want to go ahead and certainly check it out for sure. Um, Enrique says, are the rumors is that more veteran Rangers will come back for the 30th anniversary? That is just a rumor right now. I believe that Jinsaku was pushing forward. Again, I did hear the opposite from somebody else in regards to they may not be in there, or at least I don't know how big of a role they certainly might play. I'm expecting David for sure. Whether or not Hasbro has changed course, Jinsaku was kind of hinting that maybe some changes did come into the script, and they're kind of making some changes here or there. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen when it comes to this 30th anniversary. Like what he was referring to the other day felt very much like a combination of a 30th anniversary and Quantum Continuum, making me wonder if they've decided to go ahead and just blend these two stories together, and kind of turn this 30th anniversary into maybe highlighting the OGs a little bit more. Again, grain of salt. Hashtag grain of salt. Hashtag this is just speculation. But I am still hoping that the 30th anniversary and Quantum Continuum are two different things, to the point to where I really would like if the 30th anniversary to maybe set up something. Like if the OGs were to say pop up in the 30th anniversary, that's not confirmed, but if they were to, I wouldn't mind the idea of this new character Yen meeting them, meeting the group as a whole, her kind of filling that Trini role to fill out the full team, but maybe they're only around for say an episode or an episode and a half, and then Yen goes off and does her own thing, and the remainder of the story is all about her and the other crossovers or the other team that maybe she perhaps builds. You can still do that, I think, for something like a 30th anniversary, and then continue the story of the OG Rangers from either that point or whatever the case may be, and allow David Yost to certainly tell his story. Again, I don't know what Hasbro's mindset certainly is, but I do think that there is a way to have them separate, or even to have both of these stories together in some capacity. And it is making me wonder, like going back um and thinking about Amy Jo Johnson's tweet that she put out a couple months ago about the idea of, how can you have a 30th anniversary and no OGs? I wonder if Hasbro felt some type of way. Maybe they made changes based off of what she said, or maybe that was Amy teasing us at the idea of like, hey, if you guys didn't think we were in here, what kind of anniversary would it be without us? Of course, we're going to be here, right? Things like this certainly does make me start viewing Amy Jo Johnson's comments a little bit differently now. Kind of curious if things wind up changing based off of that particular moment. Matthew says, what if Yen is the daughter of Trini? Certainly a possibility. I think that's one of the rumors that's certainly going out around right now, but not confirmed. Matthew says, I don't know what I'm excited for, the 30th anniversary or David Yost potential show. Maybe you can be excited for both of them. I know I'm excited for both of them for sure. They both sound extremely promising for me. And I do hope that there is some connective tissue between the two of them at some point in time. But we'll see, man. We'll see. But Quantum Continuum continues to look more and more promising. When you've got David Yost literally highlighting weapons, saying things along the lines of he's worried that the villains will steal this show. When he starts talking that confidently, I think we should certainly start listening. So hopefully we'll get some announcements here soon, man. I'm really hoping that we certainly do. Let's see here. And I'm also keeping a track on my Twitter page as well, guys, to see if anything else has come up or changed when it comes to the world of Power Rangers for you guys. So definitely go ahead and continue to keep me posted if you guys see any breaking news that winds up dropping. Okay. And with that out of the way. Oh, hold on. Mega Power Brazil just went ahead and oh, shout out to Mega Power Brazil for coming through with this. Let me go ahead and pull this up here, because it feels like maybe this breaking news will take over in between all the stories we're talking about. This is from Mega Power Brazil. Went ahead and translated this recent post. Jonathan Entwistle removed from his bio his 2 projects that were in pre-production. So mind you guys, again, pre-production. So when it comes to Power Rangers, they're not even far along with production at all in regards to casting or anything like that, or at least not that I'm under the impression of, for Power Rangers. So pre-production. So nothing's really been promised at this point in time. But it does say that he's removed Fred and Ginger and the Power Rangers, leaving only the 2 series he produced. Brian Edward Hill, who works with Entwistle, continues with Power Rangers in his bio. So he still does have himself, he says, writer and futurist, and he still has Power Rangers certainly listed on there. So I am very curious as to, and of course, Jonathan Entwistle no longer has it listed on there for him. So yeah, even Mega Power Brazil is saying something about it, which says something, I think, because of the fact alone that when it comes to they are like the official word for Power Rangers over in Brazil now. So the fact that they're talking about it is something to certainly keep your eyes on. We will go ahead and change course now from Power Rangers into the realm of Tokusatsu. But again, guys, as we get more details, hopefully as we're going live with this stream, maybe more Jonathan Entwistle news will come out. I'm going to send a message out real quick. All right. So let's go ahead and change course. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic for you guys today. As we highlight Kamen Rider, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch over to some Tokusatsu news for you guys, as Shin Kamen Rider is in the news once again, ladies and gentlemen. This week, we wind up getting ourselves an official trailer. This actually might be more of a teaser trailer. It still feels like, we've had glimpses into this upcoming project for quite some time, whether that be some articles we've read, some photos that were in fact released also. I believe they even revealed to us the opening sequence or the opening theme to the original Kamen Rider series, but in Shin Kamen Rider form. Getting an opportunity to really be teased to see what the film is going to look like, the designs and stuff, and just them paying homage to the intro of Kamen Rider with this more modern iteration of it sent chills for Kamen Rider fans that were big supporters of this project. And so this week, guys, we get more visuals and an even further insight into this upcoming series here uh, from Kamen Rider. But this is going to be Shin Kamen Rider. We did have this new um, poster reveal to kind of give us a brief synopsis, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And then they also put up if you want to be happy, be. And this is for Shocker. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. But a new trailer dropped today or this past week, guys. So I want to go ahead and let you guys see the trailer. I don't quite know. We'll see. I'm not going to click the share audio, but sometimes it shares anyway. But this is from Toku Nation. I've only watched this trailer once, and it gave me goosebumps. Well, twice, I should say, and it gave me goosebumps each time. So I want to go ahead and check it out again with you guys. So I apologize, Toei, if you hate me for this. But yeah, this is from Toku Nation. Hideaki Anno's Shin Kamen Rider first teaser trailer release. So it is a teaser trailer. So it's not very long, 55 seconds. That's fine. Just giving us visuals. I don't even think we get any dialogue in here. It's just great music. I do expect an official trailer eventually to give us further insight in regards to what the story details are certainly like. But it says, at last we have our proper first look at the upcoming Kamen Rider cinematic revival project by Hideaki Anno. It says damn it. You know what? Maybe I kind of do want to share the audio. I know they're going to hate me for this, but that's okay. Yeah, there's a part of me that does want to kind of share the audio. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this back up here. Oh, share tab audio. Okay, so it does let me. All right, here we go. I will say visually, this movie looks stunning, actually. I'm a big fan of the costume designs in here as well. Being able to take this suit and make such a modern... Oh, the villains, too. I mean, damn. Ooh, that bike, though, with the flames. Yo, I love that last shot of him walking towards the camera. There is something great about the trench coat look that I'm a really big fan of. I really do like the trench coat. I don't know why it gives me like Matrix vibes when I watch it. But like visually, just starting out, they really showcase some great directorial work, some great cinematography in here. I love that shot too of him just in the dimly lit room. Visually, this honestly looks great. Hideaki Anno has just outdone himself and continues to do so each and every time. But then it takes it up a notch. It's like two different sides to this trailer, which I really love the way it comes together. The villains, I mean, look at the designs here for some of them. Ooh, you got the bumblebee-looking alien thing here. The trench coat is doing it for me. I guess that's the second Kamen Rider that we see. I wonder, do they both have trench coats? Just one have a trench coat? I don't think they're going to be rocking the trench coat the entirety of the movie, but I'm loving what I'm seeing here, man. I think they're going to really, really impress. You know, as much as let me stop this. As much as I'm a really big fan of this Shin universe that they are officially creating. You know, Hideaki Anno a couple months ago, they did reveal a Shin universe sort of logo that they were trying to build. All these different companies coming together in Japan, taking their biggest heroes and sort of putting them into a cinematic universe to some capacity. Is a pretty genius idea if you ask me, right? I mean, we've got a DC cinematic universe here in the States, a Marvel cinematic universe also, to be able to take these big icons in Japanese culture and create more modern versions of them, and allowing somebody like Hideki Anno, who is just an absolutely incredible storyteller that will always push the envelope in regards to his level of storytelling, to let him sort of be the grandfather to bring all of these characters into a more modern time period, has been a brilliant idea. Not to say that Hideki Anno is like the Kevin Feige of things, but you can see the love and care and attention that he's putting towards these characters, paying great tribute to the very first season of Kamen Rider. What he was able to do with Shin Godzilla was amazing in regards to a modern day Godzilla film that truly just kind of blew me away and was literally terrifying in certain aspects. To see the fact that we're going to be getting a Shin Ultraman this summer as well from him also, and then to see his upcoming project in Shin Kamen Rider, this is all coming together spectacularly well. I know how people have asked before, can we expect a Shin Super Sentai? That I don't know. I feel very much like Power Rangers has now overtaken what Super Sentai is on a global scale. So there's a part of me that thinks maybe not Super Sentai, but I do believe from the Shin universe, the logo that we had, I want to say it showed Kamen Rider on there, Godzilla, Ultraman, and I think even Evangelion as well, which was Hideki Anno's anime that really brought recognition to his name and just helped boost anime just to the stratosphere, if you will. So I am curious if we'll get a Shin Evangelion at some point in time also. And I don't know if we're gonna get, say, like an Avengers level type of film of like a massive crossover where Ultraman and Kamen Rider have to help each other out, take down Godzilla. I don't know if we're ever gonna get to that point or not. I don't know. But I do like the idea of a Shin universe really coming together and being shepherded by Hideki Anno. I mean, he just seeing his work alone in this trailer gets me hyped, gets me stoked. Visually, costume design wise, music composition, honestly cannot wait to see what else we wind up getting from them. But yeah, guys, I definitely want to go ahead and know your thoughts in regards to that. There was one other thing I think from Toku Nation that they had in regards to this article. It says the hero Takeshi Hongo is augmented by the secret society Shocker. It says as a critical step in their plan to evolve humanity. But Hongo has vowed to use his power to fight against the Shocker group and defend humans. So I kind of dig that. Considering for somebody like myself who hasn't watched the very first Kamen Rider series, this is going to be my introduction to the first Kamen Rider. So to kind of hear that synopsis and the idea that he was created by a secret society to evolve humanity, but he turns against that secret society to defend humans and protect life. I'm assuming now maybe Shocker is sending, if anything, these other villains that we see in this trailer after him. And I am kind of curious if that's what we're getting here, but it looks great, man. It looks great. Everything that I've seen continues to impress. What else we got? What else you guys saying in here? Jokey, what's up, Jokey? Says, I'm that we're getting trailers, even we still have to wait. Oh, I'm assuming you mean the fact that you're still hyped that we're getting teasers, despite the fact that we still have to wait till at least 2023. You're absolutely right. But I think it'll be here before we know it, man. 2023 will be here before we know it. Again, we still have Shin Ultraman that's going to be dropping this summer, and I think that's going to be the talk of the town. And then once that kind of subsides, then we're going to be having Shin Kamen Rider to certainly look forward to. What's up, Johnny? Appreciate you certainly coming through. Yusai says, so fire. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this trailer. Midwest says, yeah, the trench coats are strangely welcomed addition. Yeah, I was not expecting the trench coat, but when they added the trench coat, I'm like, I kind of dig it. The common rider suit for what it is. But I get the idea of a trench coat, especially if maybe you're trying to hide who you are. If you're on the run, sort of thing, you don't want necessarily be recognized. The trench coat probably certainly comes in handy for him as well. Matthew says the trailer was sick. I absolutely agree, man. Absolutely agree. Soul Yang, what's up, Soul Yang? Appreciate you coming through. He says, I guess Shocker is going to be a happy science cult in this movie. He says, I know, they say, I know it's going to be some heavy religious aspect in the movie. Oh, that's interesting to me. I wouldn't mind that. I don't mind weird and creepy. Especially when it comes to the cult aspect of things, that always kind of intrigues me. So I would be interested to see how Shin Kamen Rider, if that's the route that they go, winds up creating something along those lines. But again, everything that I'm seeing so far is winning me over. And a lot more to certainly look forward to when it comes to the Shin universe. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below, guys. And with that, we've got one more topic I think we're going to be diving into for you guys today, and that is in regards to the upcoming Ultraman Decker, guys. We did this for Ultraman Trigger. Anytime we had a new cast announcement or a new character breakdown, we've been bringing you guys the characters to get familiar with them before we dive into the brand new season, which I believe starts in about 2 months or so. Dropping this July, I believe, is when Ultraman Decker winds up hitting. But we do have ourselves a new cast member and character to dive into a little bit. So let's see how this gentleman here is going to be helping out the Ultraman Decker series going forward. This comes to us from Tokusatsu Network, another great site for your Tokusatsu news, but this is the Tokusatsu Network. Yu Koyanagi has in fact been cast in Ultraman Decker. It says Yu Koyanagi is joining the cast of Decker as Yuichiro Asakagi. Oh, okay. So he kind of keeps his I'm just going to call him Yu. He's a scientist within the Terrestrial Peaceable Union, the TPU, and the mechanical engineer for the Gut Select team. So he's another Gut Select member here. As previously played, Koyanagi, the actor, has previously played the host of Ultraman Zero run in Ultraman Zero: The Revenge of Bilal. Yuichiro Asa Asakagi, the character, age 31, helps Gut Select team fight against Sphere by building them new combat weapons. Uh, Asakagi is calm, composed, and is a competent mech pilot. He is also skilled at giving orders to other pilots. So we already have the Falcon coming back, which we've already seen and talked about the actual pilot. It's no longer going to be like a virtual pilot like we saw in Trigger. It seems like they're actually going to have pilots for the Falcon now. It says he is skilled at giving orders to the pilots. It seems he's a pilot himself in regards to being able to fly a mech of his own, if you will. So it looks like he's the one that's going to be building the combat weapons and the vehicles for our team. This is the first time that I've heard of Sphere, though. I am wondering if that's the bad guys of this series that we're going to be diving into. We'll definitely have to see. But Yu goes on to say, he says, I'm returning to the Ultraman universe after I played the protagonist Ran in Ultraman Zero, The Revenge of Bilal 12 years ago. Everyone welcomed me warmly on set and reminded me that I am here to demonstrate my craft. I'll devote myself to providing all my acting skills to this show. This feels very much like I'm going to put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, Ultraman Decker does premiere July 9th for you guys. So yeah. That's gonna be our new addition. So yeah, man, you Koyanagi, welcome to Ultraman Decker. I can't wait to see how you fit with the rest of the Gut Select team, which I'm gonna be interested to see how he fits because honestly, for me, one of my strong suits of Ultraman Trigger was the supporting characters. I don't know if there was a supporting character on that show that I did not like. I was always a big fan of how they worked together, the pushback, the relationships, the friendships, the values that they all certainly held, the motivations that they certainly gave each other. I thought they worked like a very well-oiled machine, and it was something that was really appealing to certainly watch on display. So when it comes to forming a new gut select team, for me at least, they definitely have a high bar to certainly meet in regards to, am I going to like them as much as the gut select team, or will they hit me differently and just give me a different taste of that particular group? So I'm really looking forward to it. But Ultraman Decker, guys, July 9th, it certainly will be dropping. So definitely go ahead and let me know your guys' thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. All right, guys. Let's see here. Any other news? Um, I did see Jinsaku just posted something in here saying, chill out, guys. Power Rangers is not canceled. Let me see. Where did his thing go? He just posted something. Yeah, Jinsaku just said the Power Rangers is not canceled per se, just because of the fact that they are having um pumping the brakes a little bit and changing course, it feels like. Um, if anything, we'll see how it comes together. But so Power Rangers are still certainly in development. Don't worry about that for sure. Power Rangers is still certainly happening. We just have to tamper our expectations and really give Hasbro the opportunity to create something in the time and see what they come up with, really. All right, guys. With that out of the way, oh, Enrique says, is there going to be a Ultraman Decker press conference? I expect them to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't announce something like that, though, until June, until we at least get into June. But I do expect them to have a press conference of some sort where we get to see a little bit more insight in regards to the characters, and the and new images and things like that. So I'm sure they probably will sometime in June or maybe super early July. But we'll keep you posted for sure. All right, guys. And with that out of the way, we will transition over to your guys' live viewer questions. And I'm pretty sure that by this point in time, it's probably, I'm going to guess 45 emails. I'm going to guess 45 emails. We'll see, though. Close, 42 emails. 42 emails. Let's see how many we can actually get through. If anything, I'm probably just gonna pick one question from each because I got to wrap up here in like an hour or so. So I may not take all the questions if you guys submitted questions, but I'll definitely try and get to as many as I can. Jericho, what's up, Jericho? We'll start off with Jericho today. He says, has Andros joined SPD? Seems pretty likely to me, given Doggy Kruger wore Andros like disguise in one of the flashbacks. I could see Andros being a mentor to Doggy, and a mentor to Doggy. That seems like a stretch, but who knows? Possible that Andros may have joined SPD by now. Would be sick if Hasbro ever did a movie showing Andros as a member of SPD. Considering SPD has been shown to be so expansive, I think it's pretty likely. Andros could be one if of the first members, not from Kruger's home planet, Sirius. It makes sense since SPD was developing Ranger technology already in its early days. One, IT being called Space Patrol Delta and Andros being the Red Space Ranger. Two, in the history episode, Kat seemed to easily know about and locate the video history archives of the Dino Thunder Rangers. My guess is that Tommy and Andros took Tommy's Ranger video diary and put it to good use. And Wes, who was just a phone call away from his own team in the 31st century, and you've got Tommy's Little Ranger video converted into a detailed and accurate Ranger history video that's totally integrated into the SPD database. Three, yeah, Corone was astronomer, and as astronomer, she did a lot of crimes, and her brother wasn't. Um, I don't know what that word is. Enatrol. I don't know what that. I don't know what you meant. Maybe it's a typo. So, in case where he passes away before she does, guess who guess how she's covered and by whom. Safe to say, Andros was part of SPD at some point. I don't know. It feels a little bit of a stretch for me, Jericho. But to each their own, man. It's a great theory. I love the way that you're putting things together for sure. I don't know if I'm necessarily in agreement with that, but I do like where you're coming from, Jericho. There might be some people that like what you're saying, though. Might like that theory for sure. Gabriel, what's up, Gabriel? With Don Brothers being connected to the previous series, which was a series you weren't fully really fond of, what do you want to see improve when it comes to past Rangers from Zenkaiger returning? And do you hope the momentum doesn't change when a past character from Zenkaiger does return? And have you had any complaints or shortcomings so far in Don Brothers? I don't really want too many characters to return from Zenkaiger. The idea of Kaido being back, I'm cool with Kaido and Jurin just really being the only two in here. If other people want to come in, like maybe Kaido's parents, I would be cool with that. Maybe a returning Gigi. Um, I think the fact that this season is being handled differently, considering that we have a different writer, I am going to be interested to see how they write these characters because, Kaido already feels significantly different than his time in Zenkaiger. I wonder why that is, though. I am wondering what he went through. Is this just is this a facade? Is Kaido still who he is, but he's pretending to be something else? If the writing has been so good that if they do want to return a Zenkaiger member, I'm all for it because I trust them in handling it a way that will still fit what it is they're trying to create for Don Brothers and not make it feel like they're misplaced, if that makes any sense. So I do believe that they'll be fine if they were to make a return. Um, any complaints or shortcomings so far in Don Brothers? Not really. I mean, there's a lot of mystery, a lot of questions that I certainly have, but I've been pleased at the pace in which they've revealed things, teased things for us, and really hinted at the character growth in here. So I don't really have any complaints or shortcomings as of right now. I'm really loving what they've put together. Nicole Robertson, what's up, Nicole? Appreciate you coming through today. Also, hey y'all, hope you're doing well. How are you liking Dino Fury season 2 so far? And who knew we'd already be talking about the first half of season 2? While it's still early to fully judge this series as a whole, is Dino Fury up there as one of the top 10 or top 20 seasons of Power Rangers for you? Probably top 10 for sure. Probably top 10. It's been pretty impressive. I've really enjoyed what they've done so far, and the season hasn't even finished yet. But they've been on a quite a great momentum swing. Does it feel like yesterday when Dino Fury was first announced as the newest season of for Power Rangers? Following, do you still see the future of Power Rangers after Reboot being delayed by the new CEO of Hasbro? For me, oh man, that's a tough question. There are a lot of things that have happened recently that have kind of shaken my um I guess it's because of the fact that this momentum that Power Rangers was building was really good, man. Was really good with Brian Goldner on board. The new CEO, I feel like ever since he came on board though, has really shaken things up. Taking us in a different direction or at least slowing us down from where we were before. I still think Power Rangers is in a good place where it needs to be as of right now. I do think Hasbro will certainly do its best to put its best foot forward. I think when I look at things like the 30th anniversary so far, with some of the teases and hints and some of the speculation that we've had so far, it sounds promising, it sounds unique, it sounds different. And for Hasbro to take that sort of risk and chance and switching things up does show me that there is belief in the brand. I don't necessarily think that Hasbro needs to work on things in a speedy manner for that to translate to belief in the property. When you've spent $512 million on a property, granted, it wasn't Chris Cox that spent the $512 million. That's money that you've spent on a property. You have to make good on it, or you've literally blown $512 million, right? So you have to kind of put your best foot forward. And I think Power Rangers still being over at Entertainment One does at least put it in good hands for somebody like a Michael Lombardo, or like fresh ideas to certainly still come Power Rangers way and still be greenlit. Do I understand the worry that some people have? Absolutely. Should there certainly be a worry? Absolutely. I think there should be a level of lowering our expectations just a little bit and really waiting to see more concrete evidence from Hasbro in regards to, okay, so what direction are we going now, right? Because it feels like there's a lot of things happening and changing. I mean, literally, Jonathan Entwistle literally just changed the article, the name of Power Rangers to the Power Rangers like 2 days ago, if not yesterday, only to now no longer have his Power Rangers attached to his profile, despite Brian Edward Hill, the writer of the movie, still having Power Rangers there. So is Jonathan Entwistle no longer attached? Again, I don't know. Do they have other plans? Do they want to bring somebody else in? I will say this, because it's always been in pre-production and they haven't fully embraced the movie as it is per se, I feel okay. I feel okay for right now. Hesitant, worried, sure, but I still feel like it's in the place that it needs to be. Let's give them time. I'd rather them not rush and really focus on putting something together. Could the landscape of Power Rangers look significantly different in, say, 6 months if we get a big announcement? Absolutely. So let's tread lightly right now. Let's tread lightly. Kurt, what's up, Kurt? Lost Galaxy, who was the Magna Defender? I think Magna Defender fought with the ancient Galaxy Rangers. His sword may have been forged with the Quasar Sabers on planet Moroni. Murano, I can't never pronounce that damn name. Maybe his people were supposed to protect the Quasar Sabers, and Magna just lost sight of that mission when he became consumed with revenge. That would explain why the sword was made to look similar to the Quasar Sabers. I don't think he was a ranger. Instead, he was from a race of warriors. I'm not sure where his powers actually come from. That's interesting, Kurt. Interesting concept. Ibase, if you could change any story plot for any seasons of Power Rangers, what season would it be and why? Anything Megaforce related. I think they just butchered that. The idea of combining the Ghost Sagers and the Go Kaijus into sort of one season, or breaking it down to 20 episodes and 20 it was just a debacle, man. I think they probably could have gotten away with giving them both 2 seasons worth if you wanted to, and really taking advantage of it. So that would be mine. That would be mine. JK Lawrence, what's up, JK? Since it's been more than a year since the Sentai series Kira Major had ended, what do you think made the show stand out from the past Sentai seasons, even compared to the new current series of Don Brothers? I really enjoyed the energy that Kira Major brought. It was a very just a happy, fun sort of energy. I did love the the combination of like different people, like in different work. Like I'm glad it wasn't like all high schoolers sort of thing, right? Like I do love the fact that everybody had their own thing outside of being a Kara Major that they focused on, right? Cena being the was it Seo? Was it Cena the track star, Seo the doctor, if I'm not mistaken? Shiguru as the actor. And I also thought it had a really great villains too. Garza and Yodana were fantastic. And I just thought it had a really great balance of fun, joyous moments, yet also some dark moments as well, and some really telling storylines. There was something very fascinating about there being like a family drama and a family vendetta when you start talking about the Crystallians and seeing how this all sort of formed formed and carved out the story for Kara Major. So I thought it was a really great balance, man. I thought they had some great characters and great villains. It's definitely one, like, for the Reiwa era of Super Sentai, a really great start to it. A series that I would highly recommend to anybody that wants to jump on board with Super Sentai. I think it has a little bit of everything. Ionis, what's up, Ionis? What did you think made RPM stand out from other seasons of the Disney era that came before? And why is that a lot of Power Rangers seasons that are rumored to be the last of the franchise seem to always go out with such a breath of fresh air? I think it's the case of, hey, look, we're going to get canceled anyway, or we're ending anyway. We need to go balls to the walls. We just need to go all out for this last one. And I think that's the mentality that a lot have, and it works out successfully. A post-apocalyptic world never hurt nobody, and I think it did wonders for RPM. And I think also Disney had a great opportunity of hiring some amazing actors. I mean, you look at Ika and Rose and what they've gone on to do with their careers. Is RPM like the most successful Power Rangers show for actors to have come out of, that have established themselves in Hollywood to this day? I am kind of curious if RPM wind up creating that, and that is in fact thanks to Disney. So it definitely had, those are just a couple of things too. I think the post-apocalyptic setting really worked out well. Of course, the storytelling, whoever the writers, the writers for that time period, but then also the idea of they managed to find some really great actors, and it really worked for them. So they're able to create something really, really unique. And again, when you know that this is the last that you have to offer, don't skimp out, man. Don't skimp out. Go all the way. Joey, what's up, Joey Thompson? Why is it the majority of Power Rangers seasons take place on Earth instead of outer space like space? Probably just for budgetary reasons. Anytime you have to deal with space, you're talking about creating new set pieces, bigger set pieces, more costumes and stuff. So I think probably more budgetary reasons than anything. At least with Dino Fury, the series does acknowledge the planet Ravcon while making the Earth the main setting. What do you hope to see in the final half of Dino Fury? Would it be cool if maybe Commander Shaw from Beast Morphers, her appearance allows her to help Zato and Ion find more from their planet? Oh, that would be pretty cool if Commander Shaw helped them find their planet. Even if from the earlier episodes, the planet is there, maybe just cloaked or invisible. Yeah, I don't believe Ravcon has moved. I think if anything, Ravcon is still there in the sense of like it's just cloaked. So I think the Rangers will eventually find that out. I think one of the messages mentioned something, even the idea of it breaking up, mentioned something of them having to do this in order for like the planet to possibly survive. So I do wonder if it's a case of it's there, the planet's healing, but in order to do so, we have to hide it from other people. I do wonder if that's the situation that it comes to. But as far as the second half, I mean, just definitely Commander Shaw. I really would like to see Lord Zed certainly pop back up in here. Even if Lord Zed isn't the villain, the fact that they put him out there and he's still around, I do think that we will see Lord Zed in some capacity, if not in the 20, and if not in the second half of the season, then I definitely do think in the upcoming 30th anniversary. But for the growth of some of the relationships in here, I do want to learn furthermore, not only about Ion and Zato when it comes to Ravcon, but I definitely need to learn a lot more about Void Knight and Void Queen. I really want to see more of their backstory told, and if anything, if it does focus on Amelia, or learning a little bit more about Amelia's past. I do think that maybe they're holding off on her a little bit more. I'm trying to think if I've seen her focused on as much as she maybe was in like the first season. So I do wonder if maybe the second half, if they'll explore her a little bit more, right? Because Fern and Izzy already have something going. We've seen a lot of Izzy, and I'm sure we'll probably see more of her. We've definitely seen a lot of Ali and Dr. Akana in the first season. Maybe Javi gets a little bit more shine this season along with Zato and Ion. But I don't know. I have a feeling that they're getting a lot of the filler episodes sort of out of the way. That's kind of what we talked about, the idea that season one felt very filler heavy, with lessons of the day, if you will. But it wouldn't surprise me if this last half is very much focused how we kind of saw the last half of Beast Morphers focused all the way to the finale. I do think that's kind of what we expect to get momentum wise. Francois, is it just me, but in Power Rangers Beast Morphers, how did Mayor Daniels know of past villains like Rita, Sledge, and Galvanax from Ninja Steel? Specifically, how did Mayor Daniels know of Sledge if Dino Charge took place in an alternate dimension? And as the series as a whole been too on the nose with nostalgia. We literally had a scene in an episode of season 2 when we got to see the Ranger Vault of Power Ranger gears and morphers, which is clearly fan service. And I don't think this is when it comes to Power Rangers, at least. I don't think it was too on the nose or with nostalgia. I do think that there are certain elements that really work for Power Rangers, and one of those elements is, for me at least, is connecting it to past seasons. I think fans really do get a kick out of that stuff. And can it be fan service? Absolutely. But does that mean all fan service is bad? I don't necessarily think so. I think the fan service that Simon Bennett and the writers have provided have not only been great nostalgia wise, but have also benefited in regards to their actual storyline, also in helping push the story itself further forward. So I do think that they're certainly there for a reason. So I don't feel like it's too on the nose or with nostalgia, but that could just simply be me. In regards to how Mayor Daniels knew of it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess I don't want to say Beast Morphers took place in the main universe, but I guess maybe I was under the impression that he did. And maybe not even so much so. Even if it wasn't in the main universe, I think the fact alone that, say, Commander Shaw has communicated with other universes before and made connections. Like literally, Grid Battle Force has been a home as a vault for weapons to find their way certainly back. So it does feel like wherever world or universe Beast Morphers was on is very much aware of the bigger scope of things. And as Mayor Daniels, if you've got the commander who maybe answers to you, they probably want to keep you filled in on everything that's certainly going on also. So again, I don't remember which universe Beast Morphers in, if it was in the main universe that did have MMPR at some point in time. Maybe that's how Mayor Daniels knew of it already. But if that's not the case, I think just seeing Grid Battle Force and sort of the hub that it's become for weapons and history of Power Rangers and connecting to other teams and stuff over alternate universes or dimensions, it would make sense if somebody like Commander Shaw let the mayor of that city in on what was certainly happening or kind of going on. So that's kind of how I would kind of think of it. What's up, Carlo? Appreciate you coming through, Carlo. Real quick here, let's real quick before I get into it, just Jin Saku. Want to go ahead and throw some things up here from Jin. He says, honestly, wouldn't be the first time that Entwistle left. If things work out in his favor, he'll be back. We ain't even get Dino Fury season 2 or the anniversary yet, and people want reboot news. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff that's certainly down the pipeline for us to enjoy. He says, I think Entwistle would be smart to work on other projects until the movie is ready. I wonder if he's regretting can I get that Willow job back? Is there let's see here. Let's go to the next couple questions. Carlo, what are some of your favorite pilot episodes of Power Rangers? Aside from Dino Fury, cost one of my favorite in a long time is Beast Morphers first. Aside from some established shots, absolutely, that was one of the things about that first Beast Morphers episode I absolutely love, especially that fight in the lab. Oh man, it blew my mind. It was so cool to see. I don't think it was the first time we've seen in a long time an all original Power Ranger premiere episode, which was pretty rare. And it was quite amusing that they named the organization Grid Battle Force. If anything, what are some of my favorite pilot episodes? Wild Force comes to mind for me as far as favorite pilot of enjoyable pilot episodes, and Time Force. Time Force is probably up there as well. I mean, you want to talk about really setting the stage for what this season was going to be. Time Force as a pilot episode was great for me. Michael Rhymes, if Stan Lee had purchased Power Rangers during the 2010s, how do you think the franchise would have been, especially with Kevin Feige promotion to CEO after? I don't know, man. Maybe Power Rangers would be in the MCU right now. Who certainly knows? Let me see. I'm only taking one question from each person, so I do want to make sure I'm not um doing double. So hold on a second here. Okay, so far so good. Let's see here. Roberto Bueno. What's up, Roberto? If Saban's Bioman actually did happen, then would it be as successful as Mighty Morphin? Or do you think it would have been another VR Trooper situation by having a cult following but not take off as much? How do you think it would have impacted the 80s and geek culture? Um Saban's Bioman. Let me see. Oh, interesting. It was a television pilot for an American adaptation for Super Sentai series. Who knows, man? It might have actually it might have been MMPR before MMPR became a thing. I do wonder if maybe the timing just wasn't right. Late 80s. I don't know. Late 80s though. That sounds like the perfect time period to like bring a live action just because of the 80s back in the day. But who knows? It might have ended up being the new MMPR. Had he tried to do it again during MMPR though, I don't think so. I don't think so. I do think it might have been successful though. It might have captured the attention of people here in America during that time. So it might have been the new MMPR buzz, but had it come after MMPR, yeah, it would have went the way of VR Troopers for sure. Adam Perea, what's up, man? He says, I'm absolutely loving how Dino Fury has been so far. 2.5 season long. I'm impressed that all the things the Rangers have learned from past seasons, they still carry them over in following episodes, not just completely forgetting them. Definitely shows the writers have been learning since Beast Morphers when it comes to being consistent with the writing. I still remember when Beast Morphers, a lot of character arcs have been forgotten. So hopefully Dino Fury keeps this up going forward. I hope so too, Adam. I've really been impressed with them. Kevin Rickardson, what's up, Kevin? Super Sentai had its 45th anniversary last year. Might finally be something special. Yeah, I'm counting on it, man. I'm counting on the 30th anniversary being really special, and I think fans are in for a treat regardless of what it's going to be. So I'm really keeping my eye on the 30th. I think this is going to be up there. I'm going to say it right now. This 30th anniversary special will be up there, if not better than Forever Red. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there right now. I'm just going to put it out there right now. Just so you guys know, that's where I'm at. What else we got? How do I feel about Sentai lasting so incredibly long? I think that's just an attribute to the love and care and attention that Super Sentai has gotten over the years. I mean, being around for 45 years, I mean, you tell me how many other franchises or companies have done that. You know what I mean? Consistently. It's pretty impressive, man. It just shows you the impact that Super Sentai has had on their culture over the years. Granted, I don't know what the ratings are certainly like, but again, to be going 46 years strong, yeah, man, it's other companies wish they had that longevity. John Schuyler, what's up? He says MMPR 95 movie. What were some of your favorite moments compared to the 2017 movie? And just like every other boy in the 90s, did your jaw drop when Dulce came on screen? Absolutely. The lack of clothing is what surprised me. I was like, ooh, she was so sexy and hot. My older brother grew up in the 90s and he was 15 when then when the movie came out. He probably had his first wet dream that night too. Uh but favorite moments. I always loved the Rangers in the ninjetti costume facing off against that dinosaur or the skeleton. Seeing the run up the tree trick onto the back, I always that's always been a moment that has always lived with me. Um, the fight sequence in the construction site was always pretty dope to me. I couldn't remember if it was Billy or the White Ranger that did like the corkscrew drop kick or something like that. That was pretty legit for me too. And there was some really great moments in there. Even love seeing the Rangers morph when they get back into the city to go ahead and face Ivan Ooze. That shot of them in the city as they go teleporting up to um, their ships and stuff, their cockpits. I thought the cockpit design worked really, really well. I really love the design of like the individual Zords also too. I was a really big fan of the of it back in the day. Oh yeah, so some of my great moments. Time to boogie with the bear, baby. I'm sure Aisha had a couple great one-liners too. Chris Crossman, while the Neo Saban era of Power Rangers wasn't that good for over a decade, what did you at least find that was decent and stood out? Jake and G to me always stood out to me. I really love them as a couple and just characters in general. If there were any Neo Saban characters, I would love to see come back. Jake and Gia for sure. And I really love what they did with the first season of Dino Charge. Brennan, Shelby, or I should say, Shelby is the character name, but I thought Dino Charge has some really great characters too. Kendall was a big, great things to say, and the morphing sequence for Samurai was pretty badass. What season from each era of Power Rangers did you find had incredible moments? This can also apply to Dino Fury. I mean, Lost Galaxy, Time Force. I mean, in um, Wild Force has some great moments. Mystic Force. I mean, if we're gonna go more current, like Neo Saban, great moments from Neo Saban. I will say this. I don't know how big of a moment is, but it's always a scene to me that stays with me to this day that I saw in Neo Saban, where it was the Megaforce episode where it felt like Gia kind of took the lead. They had a great sort of original footage fight, like a civilian fight, and I just remember Gia at the front, and she doesn't say anything to the rest of the team. It's like a head nod, and the team goes on the attack. Like she just gave them an order. I thought it was the coldest and coolest shit I ever seen Gia do. But it's something that I really love. It was a pretty impactful scene for me. So I always love that moment that Gia wind up having. Um, Legendary fail, not because it was a great moment, but it was just such a monumental moment that didn't amount to too much, which was a bummer. But yeah, I feel like every season definitely has had its own fair share. What were some of your favorite season finales? That's a that's a tough one. I have to get back to that, crisscross. Carter, what's up, Carter? From the Hasbro Power Rangers movie, if you could, what writer from other shows and movies that were very successful you'd like to work on Power Rangers? Writers and action instead of just near the end of the movie? No, I thought the writing was pretty good. I think if anything, it's the pacing of the writing and how they paced out the movie that I think could have been significantly better, Definitely more action. Um I think the writing was on point. I just it just was it left out something.